Yeah, you bring up social media, and I was going to ask you about this later, but I'll do it now because the NBA Twitter is such an interesting place. I don't know how much time you spend online. How often does a meme, a conversation, whether it's positive or negative, but when things happen on NBA Twitter that go viral, how often does that come across your desk?
Very often, because we have great communications department here, and we live in the world. And even to the extent it's a meme or it's a theme on social media, I find that we need to enter the conversation. In some cases, if it's factually wrong, to do our best we can to correct the record. In some cases, to try as best we can to guide the conversation, and in other instances to react to the conversation. And to your point, I mean, NBA Twitter is real. I mean, it's a humongous audience of people. In fact, Twitter or X told us recently, I mean, sports is the #1 category of content on that service. I think people might think it's politics or fashion or something else, but it's actually sports. And it really, not just the NBA, of course, but drives that platform, as is the case for Instagram and a lot of the other social media platforms. But it's part of, I think, my job to see if we can harness it to our advantage, because there's also enormous amount of negativity out there. I think that, and I also see as my job both to provide some, I would say, guardrails for players, entering social media, but also to be protective to the extent we can as well, because it's, as you know, I mean, our players are in many cases sort of young folks who are sensitive. And as you, of course, well know, for any fan who thinks that's not the case, they're just off, that. And I'm always sort of, as an outsider to most locker rooms, amazed when I hear that guys are actually looking at their phones at halftime. I'm like, because I don't even, there are things that I do that I find that it's incredibly distracting, even during the draft. If I'm on social media and somebody's making fun of me or laughing about the way I pronounce the name, I'm like, I find that incredibly distracting. I'm like, don't show it to me. I'll read it later. But I pay attention to it. I think it's my job to pay attention to it.